Hello everyone. Thank you and welcome to my page. If you're joining me on Facebook, if you're joining me on YouTube, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to make a patriotic colored wreath, and we're going to make it on a grapevine wreath form. So if you do not know me, I'm Stephanie Brown from Brown's Custom Creations, where I create custom designs with you in mind, and I love to inspire you to make and create things on your own. So let me show you some of the things that you're going to need today for the day's project. First of all, you will need, or I'm using a grapevine wreath, and this one is I forgot to measure it. It's a 22-inch oval grapevine wreath. I'm also using a sign that I got from Walmart, and I already have the ties attached to how I'm going to hang it on the grapevine. You will need some type of wired ribbon, so I'm using a red, white, and blue to go with the sign. Also, you'll need some florals. I have some poppies that I actually got from Walmart. Aren't they pretty? That color is so pretty. We won't be using these leaves though, but I do like the poppies. And then we're using a plastic foliage. And if you want that item number, it is 13292 BU9. And I got that from a wholesaler. And we'll put in a little bit of white, and I got these at the at-home store. I thought those were pretty too. All right, some other things that you will need. You will need a glue gun. Also, you'll need a pair of scissors to cut your ribbon, and you may need some type of wire cutters to cut your florals apart. Or if you have a stem cutter, you'll need something to hang your wreath on or buy. This is a wire that I got from Hobby Lobby. It's a grapevine wire. And this is what I use to attach the sign. You can also use chenille stems. This sign is a little bit heavier, so I wanted to use something a little bit heavier than a chenille stem. So I got this from Craft Outlet, and if you want the item number, it is XG4483W4. And I've already cut this apart, but I got these little ferns during Christmas time at a store called Decorator's Warehouse, but you could probably find them at a lot of different stores during the holiday. So always pick up things that are red, because you can use those at different times of the year. So when they're having their percentage off sales at the end of the year, pick up some extras if you can. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to put our wire onto the back of the grapevine to make a hanger. So what I'm going to do is, I've already discovered that I want this side to be the side that my sign is on. It's flatter than the other side, and so this is not a perfect oval, but anyways, so this is the side I'm going to hang my sign on, and I've already checked the back to make sure that there are no scraggly pieces that can harm a door. So you always want to check for that. So I'm going to go through the top with this grapevine wire, and I may not have cut it long enough, so let me cut another piece. I didn't cut this quite long enough. Let's cut another piece, and I want to make sure I do it longer than the first piece, so let me use that as my guide, and then I'll tell you how long I cut it. I am going to cut this about 22 inches. And that may be way too long, but at least we know we'll have enough. All right. This is where my sign is going. So this is the top. I'm going to feed this through on one side, go through the grapevine, and then I'm going to, actually I'm doing that backwards. Sorry about that, guys. Feed that through on one side, then feed it through on the other side. All right, so once you have it fed through, go ahead and get your the part that you have fed through, even that out, and then what we're going to do, it's kind of hard to do this standing up and showing you. What we're going to do, let me even that back out. We're going to take this wire, and I just pressed it up. The one that was in the front, I pressed it up, and then we're going to curl it onto one side of the loop that we've made. And then we'll do the other side, same way. Just going to curl that up. And you can make your loop smaller. I should have made it just a little bit smaller. And I'll show you how to fix that. So you don't need quite 22 inches. But what I had at first was too small. Okay. But how you can fix that, if it's too long, you just give it a little twist. And you'll have a smaller loop. Now I'm going to just trim this little fray part off. And then since that's fraying a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add just a little dot of glue right there. So it'll stop that fraying. I'm going to pat that in. And I'm just doing that because it's fraying, and I don't want it to continue to fray. All right. And so we have our little loop onto our grapevine. So I'm going to give this a second to cool off before I hang it. Still a little wet. It's cooled off, but it's still wet. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hang that. It's not touching anywhere, so we're good. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and attach our sign first. So what I did to get the placement of my wire where I'm going to attach, I just put my sign up to the wreath and held it up to see where I want it. So I want my sign here kind of at a slant. So I went ahead and marked the back with a Sharpie with a marker, and in those three places. And as I said, this sign is a little heavy, but these are very durable. The sign is thick. It's about a 1/2 inch thick, so I did not have to beef up the back. I just went ahead and stapled right into the back of the sign. So I'm just going to feed these little stems through the sign. Make sure you grab a lot of the stems, and grab, if you can, grab the big stems. Grab as many of those big stems as you can. So I'm using brown so I can kind of hide the fact that we're using these little twist ties, so to camouflage it. And I'm twisting that. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the middle. I probably should have did the middle first, but that's okay. Remember, go in through. Can you see that? I'm going through the wreath. I'm not tying it around the wreath. Don't do that. Go through the actual sticks. Yep, so I should have tied this bottom one first. So let me just adjust this just a little bit. I mean, I should have tied the middle one first. Middle one first. And I'm going to go, you see this big grapevine here? I'm going to put one of my stems above that one. Just give it a little extra support. Almost got it. All right, and let me just reposition this one at the top. And one more. Let me get this other side. The sign is the hardest part, guys. This sign, by the way, I got it from Walmart. It's one of those pioneer woman signs. So I'm like, I love that. It says summertime, relax, laugh, and enjoy the moments. And we all need that message right about now. All right, especially this summer. So I'm just twisting my twist ties up onto the wreath. We don't want to leave those loose. You can also twist them to a certain point and you can clip it off. At the end, I may do that. But if it looks okay, I'll leave it like it is and go with what we have. I'm just folding that up on itself and pushing that, making it part of the wreath. Pushing that in. And so our sign is secure, it's not going anywhere. All right, so now the fun part. Let me move this up just a little bit. All right, and I'm in a different position, so I may have to cross over to get some things. Let me see, which side do I want to be on? Let me get on this side. Maybe I won't have to cross over so much. And let me see how we can position this. Okay, hopefully you can see this pretty good. And we're going to start adding our little, we're going to add in the red first. Ouch. man. I just cut myself on one of these things. Let me get a Band-Aid. I'll be right back. Let's see if I have one. I should have one up here. Let's see. Let's stop production for just a second. All right. So we are going to go ahead and put our ferns in. Our little red ferns that I got from Christmas. And I'm putting some, applying some hot glue. And I'm going to put this fern up top. I think I want it further. So you can adjust it before you have, before your glue has actually set. So I just want that a little bit higher up. There we go. So I'm going to put 3 of these at the top and 3 of these at the bottom. So I'm starting with my biggest floral, well, foliage first, just to kind of give me a base. And I'm pushing this through the grapevine, trying not to go, I'm trying to stay within the grapevine. I'm not trying to push it through it. I'm trying to stay within all the sticks. Now sometimes they will go through and you will have to bend these steel picks. That's what I just cut my finger on, and I just cut it on this part, so I went and grabbed me a Band-Aid. All right, but all is good. We're just gluing that. We're just getting us, you know, getting our shape for our design. So I'm kind of just fanning these out. Give them some shape. You can bend it. You don't want it just flat. And you can wait to adjust it when the glue dries if you need to. And then we're going to leave room for our bow. And then we're going to come in with 2 more petals at the bottom. So I say I'm going to come in with this one. Right in here. And remember, you're trying to stay within the grapevine. So you're pushing up through the grapevine. Just trying to get my next placement there, and I think about there will be okay. So for this particular wreath, I had already cut this fern apart some time ago, so I don't know if this was, I think it was 1 bush, but I can't remember. But I have 1 of those. We'll just call that 1. I also cut up 1 of this greenery. Okay, so it comes with 1, 2, 3, I think 9 pieces on there. Yep, it has 9 pieces on there, so I have 1 of those. And I cut up 3 of these poppy bushes that I said I got from Walmart, but we're not using the leaves. And the white, I haven't cut that up yet. I don't know how many I'll need, but I have 2 just in case, and I think 2 will be plenty. There are 8 stems on here. Maybe it was 9. I guess I cut 1 off. Yeah, I did. So there are 9 stems, 9 pieces on there. Just so you know what we're, how it's going. All right. So now I am going to put in some of this greenery. Let me see if they're different sizes. Let's see here. Oh, and then I had a couple of pieces from just a leftover bush. That's something a little different. All right, just to give it a little texture. All right, all of my greenery is about the same size. So I'm just going to do a placement first. So I'm not gluing yet. I'm just going to see where I want this. So I'm going in between the ferns. Remember, the ferns were just to give us a shape and to give us an interest too, because they're glittery. Let's see here. I don't want this to be a compact looking wreath. I want it to be loose and airy. So I don't want it to look extra full or anything like that. So I want it to be real light and airy looking. So if you can see some of the grapevine on this wreath, it's okay. Because that's kind of the look that I'm going for. I don't want it to be heavy looking. All right, we're gonna go with that for the top. And we may need to add one more, we'll see. Try to remember your placement. If you need to put something there until you put it in with your, put your stem in with your glue, you can most definitely do that. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you needed to save your place, with this, I'll just use the little wire that was too small from earlier. What you can do is you can stick something so you can remember where you need to add the floral. Okay, so I'm sticking this right there so I'll know that's where I need to add my little floral piece. Because when you turn around, it's easy to forget exactly where you had it. And so we're just going to trade. All right, I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I stuck that right there where I want it to go back in. Going to apply some hot glue. That way we know where our placement was. And I like that it's light and airy. All right, so we may need to add some more, but for now that's what we have at the top. So let's go ahead and add some at the bottom. And we're just going to place them first. Remember, we're leaving room for a bow. And you can bend your flowers, your foliage. You don't want it to look flat, like it just got shipped to you. So there. Let's put this down a little bit further. And sometimes that's why it's best to go ahead and just place your florals in your whatever your florals, your foliage, whatever it is. Sometimes it's better just to place it in first so you can get your placement. Let me step back. I'm going to move this back so I can see if that's where I want that. I think I'm going to move this down just a little bit. Remember, we're going for light and airy. Whoops. Let's see, do I have a good spot to stick it in? There we go. Maybe right there. Light and airy. That's what we're going for. And I want to make sure I'm sticking it into something. Okay. And this is a good time for if you need to play around with it to see where you want it. This is the best time right now. Let's see, I'm looking. All right, I think we're going to go with that for now. And like I said, we may need to add something, but for now, that's what we're going to go with. I'm going to shoot some glue on that and push it back in there. Kind of spread that apart. This would be a great wreath to hang all summer long with this patriotic colors. I'm just bending my little leaf here. They are posable. And I may go up just a tad on this one. Push it on in there. Okay, let's see what we have on the back so far. So if we need to push in our stems, our steel pick. So I have one steel pick right here. Trying to see if you can see that. But I have one steel pick right here that I need to push in. So we're going to use our pliers and we're going to crimp and fold that under. So far we're doing pretty good with our stems not coming through. And then if you want to give that a little bit of glue so that pick will hold on to that hold in there just for some extra security, you can do that. All right, so far so good. Oh, I had just a little nub right here, so I'll go ahead and clip that off too. Let me put these. All right. So we didn't do too bad. Okay, so that's what we have so far. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add in our focal flowers. And I already have these picked. So what I'm going to do, my thought is to have a fuller flower down here and then have it be just single stems or something like that going up. Alright, so we're going to go in the same direction that our other flowers went. So these were all going up. So we're going in that same direction. And I'm going to use this to push this on down. Sometimes you may need your needle nose pliers to go ahead and push things down off into the wreath form. And that didn't come through, so we're good. So we had 3 on that bunch. And then we're going to do 2 on this one. I'm just seeing where I want it. I'm just placing that to see where I want these flowers to go. Okay. And you want to leave your stems long as you can, because you can always cut them off. But if you cut them too short, then, you have to, design with them short. I've done that when I first started out. I didn't know. And I would cut my stems way too short. So you want to leave them long. And then before you put them into your wreath, if you can, cut them off. I really like that blue in that poppy flower. Let me get this glue off of my wire cutters here, off of my little, there we go. And I think I'm going to put, let's see if we have any, I think I'm going to put these 2 together to fill that in. So let me put a steel pick on this. And see how I left my stems long? So you don't want to cut your stems off right here, because then that's all you'll have. So you want to leave your stems long so you'll have more to work with. And we're pushing it through the wreath, with the grain of the wreath. Make sure you have it caught onto something. And your flowers do not have to go the same way. So like that one is going out that way, that one's going up, that's going kind of going the other way. It just makes it have interest. So don't try to position your flowers in all the same way. All right, so that's what we have for the top. And let's go ahead and move to the bottom. I'm just kind of seeing where I want this. And I've already added a piece of greenery onto this one. Okay, that might be good. Okay, let's go ahead and put some hot glue. And I had it right here underneath. I need to make sure it's grabbing into those pieces of grapevine. Okay, and then we want to add one that has two. I think that'll be pretty. And let's see if we can put this last one down here. I'm just checking the placement first. And as your grapevine starts to fill up, you'll feel it tightening. Okay, I think I like that. Okay, let's go with that. Let's take these out. Remember, if you need to hold your spot, you can use something, put it in the spot that you just took your flower out of to hold your placement. Okay, let me get a glue stick, excuse me. All right. All right, so that's what we have so far. So now I'm going to add in the little white flowers like this to bring in some white. So I haven't clipped these apart, but what you want to do is, these are pretty long, and you could clip these in two sections. You could elongate this part and clip this. So let me show you. So I've put some of the stems up and some down, and you can just kind of clip it right in the middle. And if you do that on the cut stem for the other part, you will want to just bend this part over because you don't want your flower to come off. And there you go. You made 2 pieces out of 1. All right, so we're just kind of giving that a little shape, little movement. And also you can put your stem up like this, so when you put it in, it's raised instead of flat. I'm just going to start down here at the bottom. And just kind of feeling in. And you can fill in as much or as little as you want with these little filler flowers. It's just really up to you. I'm going to cut a couple of these off. I'm cutting all the way down to the base so I can have as much of that stem as possible. So I'm cutting all the way down to the base. Now let's see if we need that much. I'm just going to use a whole one and see if we need that much. Yep. We can actually use that much. Okay, so on this one, I'm not going to cut it in half, but I am going to just bring this up just a tad. Okay, so that's how much stem we have, and I think we may need that much for it to show, because I want it to kind of hang out. I'm looking, guys. Let me see where I want to place this. I'm feeling like I have commitment issues. All right, let's see. I think that's too long. I think that's too long over there. Let me try it over here. I may be able to get away with it over there. So I'm going to put it over here on the side. This is a long one that I didn't cut in half. And we're just going to put it over here. Now this is a shorter one. Let's see if I can put it in here. Yep, I think that shorter one I can get away with right in here. Okay, bend this just a little bit. Make sure you're putting it up into the grapevine. You can feel if it's going in the grapevine. If it's not touching anything, it's not going to hold. Okay, now let's do the top. Let me get a placement first before we start gluing. We're just getting our placement. Let me cut a couple of more. let's see how we're going to use these, if we're going to cut them in half or not. I may need to cut that one down just a tad. Let's see. Let's go up, up, up. I'm just trying to see if I cut just a little bit of it off. Yep, just a little bit. So I'll cut a little bit of it off there. Nothing off there. And we have one more from this stem. So let's go ahead and try to use that one. Okay, I need a little something there. I'll find a little white one for there. Okay, so we can go ahead and put our placement together here. So remember to go ahead and bend your stem and put a generous amount of glue on it. And I'm not going to need it quite that long. Let me cut some of it off. I just cut maybe an inch of this one off. I'm going to cut about an inch of this one off. Because if you cut your stems just right, they won't poke through the back. So if they're way too long, you'll have to do a lot on the back when you're finished with the wreath. And then if you cut them too short, then you don't have enough room to work with. So it's just a work in progress. So I had already bent this one, so I'm going to cut where I bent it, because that's the one I was saying was too long. Give it some life. We have one more. We're going to cut that off a couple of inches too. I'm just filling so it can catch inside the grapevine. Okay. So I just want that light and breezy. So I think we accomplished that. Okay, let's add the bow and then we'll see if we need to add anything else. So I'm going to switch over and get over here. Sorry about getting in front of the camera. And we're just going to hand tie this bow. Have some little glue, little glue things there. Okay, so you can make your tail as long as you want. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pinch This tail, by the way, is 20 inches. And then we're going to make a loop. I think that's going to be a little too big. Let me see how far this is. We're going to do about a 6.5 inch loop. So I measured out to 13 inches. So 6.5 inch loop. This ribbon is the same on both sides, so if you don't want to twist, you don't have to. What I'm going to do, so I went under this way, and now I'm going to bring this over. So even if it was a one-sided ribbon, you could do it the same way where you don't have to twist. Okay, make sure your loop is the same size. And then let's make one more loop, same size. So you have this side over here that you can compare it to. So just pull it out to meet this side and then pinch it up in your hand. I'm just getting these little glue things off. Okay, now on the last bit, we will need to twist. So both of our good sides of the ribbon are on the same side. So if you're just in the habit of doing that, that's a good thing. So even if you have two-sided ribbon, it'll still work. One-sided or two-sided, I always go ahead and twist. All right, so I want to keep this glitter going. So I have some glitter ribbon from Michael's during the holiday. And I just let it drop to the floor. Measuring my tails with the last tail. And I'm going to make the same size little loops. It may be about a half of an inch shorter, but that's fine. And so this is a one-sided ribbon. One side is finished and the other isn't. So I'm going to show you how, if you go under on one way and then over the other, how you don't have to twist. See how both of those have the pretty side up? Make that loop a little bit smaller. I'm just adjusting my loop so they can be about the same size. And adjusting my little pleat there. Okay, and then on this loop we're going to go under. And we're just looking to make sure that they're about the same size. And here I'm saying about the same size. And then we're going to twist because that's going to be our last loop. And we need our tails to be on the correct side. All right, I'm going to cut and leave about a 20-inch streamer. And I just noticed that I have 2 loops here and 2 loops here. So I want to switch this top ribbon around. So when we adjust our ribbon, when we spread it out and fluff our ribbon, it'll come out nicely. So what you really want is you want 2 loops, and then on the next ribbon, 1 loop. And then on the other side, you have 1 loop of one kind of ribbon and 2 loops of the other type of ribbon. All right. And then we're going to add a blue on top. Yep. And it's a sparkly one as well. So on this one, I'm not going to make the tail quite as long. And I'm just going to go under, pinch, And I started that on the wrong side again. We'll fix it at the end. I'll just switch that over at the end. I should have started my tail on this side so I would have 2 loops on this side, but that's okay. Make another loop. They're about the same. And remember, on this one, we're not twisting, we're just going under. So we did under, over, under, and then we're going to twist. Okay, and we twist at the end. And the only reason we're twisting at the end is so that our ribbon tail will be on the correct side. All right, let's give ourselves a little cut. And I'm going to switch over my top ribbon, this blue ribbon. Try to keep it all pinched. Sorry about that, I was not paying attention. All right. So now you already have a bow formed in your hand. Okay. So you should have 1, and then on the next ribbon 2 and 1, and then on the other side it should be the opposite. You have 2 of this ribbon, 1 of this one, and 2 of this one. Let me get a zip tie and tie this off. You can also use wire or pipe cleaner to tie your bows off. Put that on backwards. Okay, and I'm not going to zip it all the way down because I need to feed another, I think I will use a pipe cleaner. Or how about, where is that? What did I do with that wire? Here it is. I think I'll use, since I've already cut this wire, I think I'll just thread this through. And it'll blend into the back of the grapevine. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and zip tie this all the way down, snug. All the way. And then I'm going to clip this off. And then where we have this little white center, where the zip tie is, I am going to finish that by putting a piece of ribbon around there. You can also do a center loop or whatever you like. But we're going to use this ribbon as soon as I can find a pair of scissors. Scissors, okay. And we're going to cut off a length about 8 inches or so, maybe not even 8, just long enough so you can tie it off. And we're going to take this and we're going to fold it in thirds. We're going to see if that's big enough or too big. It may need to be a little bit smaller. So that's how we're going to wrap that off. Let me see if I can get it just a little bit smaller. Just a little bit. All right. And so we're just going to use that ribbon in there, and we're going to tie it off in the back. And tie it tight, tight as you can, and double knot it if you can. So I didn't make a super duper crazy bow today. I kind of kept it simple. I did use 3 different colors. You could also use one. It's just whatever your preference is. Let me just get this really tight. I'm using my needle nose pliers, my wire cutters, to get that really tight. And then I'm going to cut off the little extra fabric. I'm going to cut that off. They didn't make it in the trash. Okay. Alright, so that's what we have on the back. So we have our little wire to connect to the wreath form, and we've tied off our ribbon in the back. So we're going to go ahead and get this situated on and see how we did. And remember to go through the grapevine. Let's see, we're going to need a little bit of help. Hold on. I'm going to get me a new little edge here. The grapevine will start, you know, kind of peeling back. So I'm just cutting that off and starting over. It's like threading a needle. You know, sometimes you have to get you have to start with a new fresh cut for your thread. Kind of the same thing. Let me see which way I have most of my tails. I have most of them going down like that. Okay, let's try this again. I see a good open spot right there. I'm trying to catch it with my needle nose here. Let me put a little bit of glue on here to help it stay. Or let me try something else. Let me try one more thing. One more thing. Let's see if we do this little trick, if it will go. There we go. And let's get the other side. All right, we got that in. Pull it tight. We're going to adjust our bow first before we tighten it on there. And we're going to have to cut those streamers. Okay, so I'm just going ahead and tightening down that grapevine wire, twisting that on really tight. And then making that part of the wreath, just pushing it in and making it part of the wreath. Alright, let me see, before I cut that off, I just want to see if I can use it in here. Okay, for the blue, I can make another little loop. So I think I'm going to make a little loop and just put a little tie right there. Let me put a little wire. So this is just some paddle wire, just a little bit. And I'm going to take the tail and secure it. So I'm just twisting that in. And once I get that all twisted in, I'm just pushing it into the wreath, out of the way. And I'll just give this a little chevron cut. So now you have a little added loop right there. Okay. You can do the same with these long loops over here. Like I'm going to do this, do the same to the red and the blue over here. I'm just going to make a loop and just go down off to the side. Let me see if I want to do that with this one too. I think I'll do it with these two, with the plaid and the red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch it. I should have had my wire ready first. We're going to cut a little piece of wire. And I'm just twisting that wire where I just pinched it, where I just pinched the ribbon. And you just want to have it billow out. You don't want it tight like that. So however you want it. And let's go ahead and chevron this. And the other one. And then for this long tail right here, let me go ahead and chevron it. But then we're going to curl it. Give it a little bit of interest. And we're going to chevron this one. Let me try that one more time. Same thing. We're going to curl it. And on this side, I think we'll tie this one in over here. Let's see. I just want to see how it would look over here. Now I like it going down, so we'll tie it in going down. Now you don't have to do any of this. You could just cut your tails off and that would be okay too. It's just whatever look you're going for. Going to pinch that off and put my little wire right here and give it a couple twists. Trying to find a spot to tie it in. And we're just twisting that off. And tucking it in. Let's go ahead and chevron this. And I'm going to cut this back a little bit further back. Okay, and we're almost done. I think I'm going to add a couple more pieces of ribbon. You could totally stop if you're making this at home for yourself. I'm just going to add some streamers to the bottom. I just dropped my ribbon to the floor on accident. So I'm going to give my ribbon a cut. We're going to do the chevron on the ends. Let me get that off the floor. Chevron the blue. So I took all three of the ribbon that I used and we're just going to add some streamers at the bottom. And let me cut a piece of wire. I need some new wire cutters. These are terrible. They used to be fantastic, but now, ugh. I need some new ones. Okay. Let's put our ribbon together. And fold them in half. And if you don't want them to be exactly in half, that's okay. They don't have to be the same length. I'm going to do them off center just a little bit. And take that wire that I cut and place it around the middle or where I pinched it. Oops. And tie that off. Don't twist too many times because your wire can break. right, so we're going to go through the wreath. I'm trying to see exactly where I want this. I guess I want it wherever the wire will go. Oh goodness. I'm going to put it wherever the wire will go for right now. Okay. Just a little added something. You totally don't have to do that. And then I think I'm going to put just a little bit at the top, and then we'll be finished. I think we'll do just a tad. Yeah. I'm cutting a 20-inch streamer, and that's probably too long, but we're going to go with that. I probably just needed about a 15. Ouch. I'm just dovetailing my ribbon and the 2.5 inch. Okay, I'm getting my middle, pinching it, just like we do when we're doing our deco mesh wreaths, getting the middle and pinching it. And get a piece of wire. Tie that on. And we're going to go through the top. And I'm just trying to find a place that it will go through right now. I have one. Let's see where the other one is. I don't want to lose this one, so I'm going to wrap it around. Let's see. Oh, I lost it anyways. Okay. Let's try again. When you're trying to fish something through the grapevine to the other side, that's really the hardest part. Okay, so my camera cut off right when I was putting in the ribbon. So I got the ribbon in, and I'm going to just trim these down a little bit. When I cut them at 20 inches, I knew that was way too long, but I would rather have them longer and not need it that long than shorter. So I'm just cutting the ribbon down just a little bit, maybe about 3 inches on each side. can adjust that however you need. And I have just a little bare spot right in here that I want to put something right there. So let's see here. So I think if I go in with this, that I camouflage that naked spot. So let's do that. And this was a cut piece, so let me put my little hook on because I don't want it to fall off. Remember, if you're using a piece that you've cut or something has come off, put that little hook so it won't come off. See, it's not going anywhere. Oh no, my glue gun. Okay, we'll put this in for now. Alright, and that just camouflages that. Now, if you wanted to add little greenery throughout your bow, you could do that, whatever you want. But for now, that's where we're going to stop. And that's our little project for today. I hope you liked it. Let me bring it up closer so you can see. So that's our wreath for today. So go ahead and do what it says and relax, laugh, and enjoy the moments. So go ahead and do what it says on the mason jar. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. If you do, if you'll give me a thumbs up, or I forgot what it does on YouTube, but you know what to do. Okay, subscribe to my channel, like my Facebook page. I'm also on Instagram, Pinterest, and I have an Etsy shop that's Brown's Custom Creation, and it will be listed there by tomorrow. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Have yourself a great day, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.